You just heard Florence and the Machine's cover of Stand By Me and Space Funk The Journeyman by Desmond Cheese. Kind of wacky names, but some pretty nice sounds. Now, a few weeks ago, Griven the Moo Canberra held Australia's second ever pill testing trial. You might have heard about it, because the debate regarding pill testing has been ongoing in Australia for over a decade now. We sent reporter Corey to find out what Murdoch students thought about the trial.
I reckon it's a good idea because people are going to use drugs anyway, so it's better for them to be safe.
Allow them to sort of have the sort of opportunity just to see that, yeah, okay, what's in the drugs, you know, am I taking something that's going to be potentially harmful? Because there's a couple of things that came out where people just, yeah, have negative side effects and they're like paralysed or just have just crazy things just from taking drugs once, and then these like ramifications of later on because, yeah, obviously it's laced with something else or different. So yeah, I reckon it's a good thing.
When it comes to pill testing and stuff at festivals, I'd probably say I don't agree with it because it is encouraging the use of drugs and illicit substances at these concerts. I understand that, yeah, okay, it is for research purposes, but it's probably not for the best.
Yeah, I have no real problem with pill testing. I think it's probably better off than trying to just ban pills outright, because either way people are going to get the drugs and take them if they want to take them. It's not going to stop them. So they might as well try and make the pills safer to take as opposed to just trying to stop something that can't be stopped. And yeah, overall, I think it's better in the long run.
That was our reporter Corey talking to a few students on campus about the GTM pill testing trial. What are your thoughts? Hit us up on social media and let us know. And while you're checking out the page, here's some more food for thought on the topic. Joining us now in the Bust Down Thursday studio are two members of the WA Chapter of Students for Sensible Drug Policy, Becky Black and Kiahna Page. How are you both this afternoon?
Yeah, we're very good actually.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Any surprise responses from that Vox Pop you just heard?
Well, it's good to see that people are getting on board and they're just aware of the dangers around certain drug use.
Obviously everybody is entitled to their opinion, but it'd be interesting to ask whether or not the people against it actually experimented themselves, or if they know other people, or, you know, it's not about just the research, it's about the reducing the risk of harm to these people that do.
Absolutely. For those who are listening who don't know, what is the SSDP?
So we're basically a part of an international grassroots network, and we focus on students and young people and the impact drug policy has on our generation and the community overall. Our mission is to take a harm reduction approach by improving policy and reducing the stigma and the harms associated with substance use. So we've recently done a parliamentary submission, and that was focusing on the drug law reform around cannabis and MDMA. And we're currently trying to get a harm reduction team together to train up for future festivals down south.
Would you say the second Canberra pill testing trial was a success?
It was definitely a success, really. There were over double the amount of pills tested this year. They actually found a dangerous stimulant substance called methylpentylone in 7 of the pills. It comes from the cathinone family of stimulants, better known as bar salts. This substance is more potent than MDMA, making it potentially easier to overdose on. MDMA is only around 100 milligrams for a dose, whereas a dose of this dangerous substance is as little as 30 milligrams. So MDMA, cocaine, ketamine, methamphetamine, they were all identified during the trial. So people that thought they were taking MDMA, they were alerted of the potential harms of the other substances, and they discarded the pills immediately. So it comes back to the harm reduction process, allowing individuals to recognise the harms associated with particular substances that they don't even know are in the pills that they're taking.
A common argument by more reluctant governments and the student that you heard on the Vox Pop is that pill testing could be seen as giving the green light to taking illicit substances or encouraging them to. What are your thoughts on that talking point?
Well, I think to answer this question, you have to accept the fact that it's inevitable that individuals will choose to use drugs. So whether there's pill testing or not, drug use has been happening for many, many years. However, the evidence shows that when individuals have been taking pills or been told pills that are dangerous, they have been discarding of the pills straight away. as Kiahna just said. So to make it clear, there are two components of pill testing, and they include the chemical analysis and a brief intervention. So we are all aware of the chemical analysis. However, the brief intervention is a main component of harm reduction, as we are providing individuals with the knowledge they aren't previously aware of. So, for an example, education around dehydration or overhydration when using MDMA is important. Not everyone is aware of how much water they should be consuming, and this could be a concern and can cause problems, even more potential fatality if too much or too little is consumed. So, as an example, it varies from a person's size and environmental aspects. However, when a person is active, approximately 500 ml of water per hour is a good amount, and roughly 250 ml per hour when inactive. So providing this credible information for people just gives people that awareness, and it can minimise their harms associated with their drug use in a non-judgmental environment.
How close do you think we are to seeing similar trials being run in WA or just outside of the ACT?
So we're not necessarily ready for pill testing in WA yet. I think people need to realise it's a lot more than just testing the pills. A harm reduction service needs to be established first. So this means having volunteers and professionals coordinating with paramedical services and the law enforcement. If we choose to introduce pill testing without harm reduction services, then a main component of the intervention will be missing. There needs to be coordination between the paramedical services so we know what people might be presenting with, police because it's illegal, and festival goers to see if they want to use these services. Basically, we think that baby steps are needed for WA at the moment. So first, let's establish a harm reduction service that ensures all safety precautions are met, then follow from there.
The issue of pill testing's been in the public consciousness a lot recently, especially after there's been, quite a few high-profile deaths as a result of laced substances. What can, we all do as people who aren't particularly involved in politics? What can we do to make our voices heard that we want this to be, nationwide?
Well, I do believe that incidents like death of Mac Miller and Demi Lovato's overdose last year, they do bring attention to the topic. However, I think a better way of getting the attention is focusing on the real-life examples in Australia. One night in January of 2017, 3 people died and more than 20 were taken to hospital for overdoses in Melbourne. In September of last year to January of this year, there were 5 drug-related deaths that occurred at New South Wales music festivals. I think these incidents help show the commonality of overdosing on laced substances, not just for celebrities, but for your own family and friends. You commonly see that friends and family of overdose victims are the ones encouraging the implementation of pill testing, as they view it to be an appropriate way of action to preventing similar outcomes in others. And as Beck said, it is inevitable that some people will use drugs, so it makes sense that to get this out there, we use real-life examples of real-life people struggling with this option without having pill testing there. People can overdose, people can die, and it's a big deal.
Thank you so much for joining us, both of you. Where can all our listeners check out the SSDP?
So we do have a Facebook page, and that is SSDP Edith Cowan University, and you're welcome to join us as a member. The more the merrier.
Yeah, we'll for sure be putting that on our Twitter, so make sure you check that out, and thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Coming up right now is Inner Firmament by Grievous Bodily Calm.